Welcome back, y'all. This is the Cafecito con Conciencia team. We're back. It's been a while, and I'm here with.
Everybody, my name is Susie. Welcome back. I know it's been a cool minute, but we're excited to start and relaunch season three. All right, David, what are you currently sipping on?
Season 3, y'all. I think the best way to start it is with a nice cup of homemade cafecito. Um, Nothing special. We're just, we went with the ordinary Nescafe, and that's it. But it'll get us through the day. So, what about you, Susie? You got anything on your cup or un chocolatito, un cafecito, un tecito?
Un cafecito también, it's always faithful and reliable. Un Nescafe with hot water and just add a little bit of creamer. I've been trying to like explore different creamers. I'm a creamer person, so I used to drink black coffee, pero mm, it's like not the same. So I'm trying to experiment with different creamers, so that way it's like, I'm getting a little older, so I need to watch my sugar level.
Mm.
So if anybody has any recommendations, well, fun
But
fact, I
isn't
guess
creamer like?
mande.
Yeah, no, no. Go for it. I was just gonna say, like, isn't creamer more sugary than
It
regular
is,
sugar, or
and I it is. That's the problem, right? Like I don't, and the thing is, I don't add sugar to my coffee. I just add like the creamer, But um, I guess my wife was doing some research the other day, and she was just like, "Hey, did you know the creamer you drink is like it's like the one everyone uses, like the blue one, right? The vanilla big. I don't even know what's called, but I know I have
is
some.
that from like Nescafe too? I think they have like
Yeah,
a brand, no?
I think
Like the
so. And she was
Nescafe
like,
one.
that
Is
creamer
it?
is like banned in everywhere else but the US. Isn't that you think a problem? Like if that creamer is banned everywhere and not good. And like, but the US, they're selling it. And I'm just like, damn. So we've been trying to experiment with other creamers, but they're not as sugary. So I'm just, but, but again, welcome back everybody. I know we're starting already on like a tough topic. And that is like, what creamer do you take with your
El
coffee?
azúcar, el azúcar,
El azúcar, exactly. Mucho
el
azúcar.
azúcar. We
Yes.
gotta be careful con el azúcar. Um, yeah, and so folks, you'll as we move along, you'll notice that it's just Susie and I. So Leo, our third partner, el tercer mosquetero, is won't be here for season 3 probably. He has chosen to take on some of his projects. So he does a lot of media work, and so he really wanted to focus on that. So if you're I think we have him tagged in some of our previous posts. So if you go into some of those posts and you're interested in following his journey, I'm hoping that you're more than welcome to do that. Of course, he has some really good things coming up for himself. So I'm really happy that he's choosing to do that.
Mhm.
And then hopefully maybe at some point, when he has time or he's able to step into the recording sessions with us, then he'll join us, for some conversations to see how things are going for him, where life is taking him, where his projects are going. So, but in the meantime, we're going from Tres Mosquiteros to two, and we'll see how things go. We're gonna keep it alive for as much as we can. If you read, and if you haven't, the link is still in the bio. But if you read the article that we came out in, like this is, like Susie said, this is a lifelong project. So um, I know we were gone for like a year and a half, but it's time to come back. So we just wanted to tap in for the holidays and see where, the team is at, and, just talk about some of the things that, are important to us. So, but yeah, I mean, I know we were talking about azúcar, and I think that brings up a good conversation about, just how we need to start taking care of ourselves, like mentally, physically. Um, I know I'm not the best when it comes down to like fried food, like I had a visit a while back with the doctora, and she was like, David, you need to stop eating fried food, porque tu hígado is not the best. And I was like, shit. I was like, all right then, no more hot Cheetos, no more soda, no more, no more fries, no more burgers. El pollo tampoco, at least when it's fried. So I've had to, make some of those changes myself. But I get you. I mean, el café no lo dejo. Even if they tell me like you gotta leave it, I'm gonna be like, no, can't do that. So
That's it's sacred, huh? It's just like maybe cafe, black coffee, just like straight, maybe that instead of adding all the.
actually, that's what she said. She said you could keep drinking because that was like one of my main things. I was like she was telling me all these things, and I was like they were going over my head. I was like, all right, cool. Like I could deal with that. I could deal with that. I could deal with that. And then to me, it was like the $1 million question. But can I keep drinking coffee? You know? And she just laughed, and she was like, yeah, no, no, you could keep drinking coffee. Just make sure it's black coffee. Um, and you should always try drinking it with un pan or something. Never just like plain. So
No,
that's
she
where
did
I'm at
not. She did not say
in terms of.
umpan. She did not say drink it with a pan. Are you making that up, David? You're making that up.
Hey,
What, doctora? Can I see her
no,
credentials?
I have unfortunately, I had to switch doctors, because of situations. But that's what she said. Un cafecito con
Okay.
pan at least. So that's what we're doing. That's what we're doing.
Maybe a cracker or like, or something. But okay, okay. Well,
It's just hard, like I find myself like having to have a bolillo every morning with my cafecito, and I'm not doing it now, but it's like there's always bolillo at the house. Like my dad wakes up, early in the morning, and he goes for this like bolillo run, you know, $1 de bolillos, or sometimes he grabs a little bit of pan for my mom and whatnot. So it's like pan is, I think it's something that we gotta have in the house. I don't know if y'all do that, but it's like for us, or if your parents do, but for us, it's like it has to be in the house. Un cafecito con pan, un
mhm.
chocolatito con pan. It's staple.
No, no, yeah.
It's our staple.
I
So I
think
can't.
I think pan, and bread and like it's something that I feel like a lot of Latinx households have, right? Especially right now when the holiday season, it's like tamale season, it's pozole season, it's pan season, it's pan con pollo season. It's like talk about all type of seasons on all food and like food in every way. But before I get into that though, I like you said, it's been a year and a half, and there's been a lot of changes that have happened. Right, we're getting a little year older and a half, and I think at the last episode, I brought up like my wife was pregnant, so we're happy to have our daughter. She's one. She just turned one. This past November 21, 27, sorry, 27. And so that's been exciting. She's a bundle of joy, and she just brings so much happiness uh, to myself, to my family, to my wife, to just And I think David, you have another announcement, right?
Yes. So yes, drum roll.
Drum roll, please. A ver.
It's it's not again. It's been shared, in my personal Instagram account. But I'm on the journey too, y'all. I have a what do we call it? A bun in the oven. So we got a child on the way. My partner and I. So we're 5 months in, and we're expecting sometime in April of next year. So
Woo, woo,
really
woo, woo,
excited for
woo,
that. Thankful
woo,
for
woo.
that for the opportunity. Um, a little nervous. I'm not gonna lie to you, right? Of course, because I don't know like how it's gonna be, but it's like I feel like I'm ready for it. Um, but yeah, that's it's a year and a half, and things are changing. For yourself, for me, for our families. So it's been good.
Well, congratulations. Woo, 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 woo. Welcome to, again, we pay the bills. We already have jobs. We go to work. We drink coffee. Another part of being an adult is, kind of we get lucky to start families, right, or to expand our families. So, but
Yeah.
you know, when she turned maybe like 6 months, she started to like really want explore food, And then one time, I think I was eating like something, junk food. I think it was like I think it was like Popeyes or something, like mashed potatoes and and fried chicken or something. And she like reaches for it, and I'm just like, oh man, like I had to really think about what I'm putting into my, what I'm eating in front of her and what I'm putting into my body. And I was like, damn, if I'm eating it, then I'm allowing her to, think it's okay for her to eat it. And I think when I think about food, I can't help but think about just like it's so delicious, but also it's like one of the things that affects our community so much, right? Like in terms of like diabetes, blood pressure, just like folks having a hard time just like, with their maintaining the weight or like, just weight in general. But I also think about like there's a that's very complex porque like growing up, my dad siempre nos decía, si no comes esto no te voy a llevar a la pizza, si no comes, si no haces esto, and but along también mi mom, food is her love language, right? Going to college, she might
Yeah.
not have supported us financially, pero if I would go when I would go home on the weekends and I would return on Sunday, she will pack me like frijoles and she will pack me like tostadas and like ceviche and then like something else and then something else and tortillas and arroz, and she will set me up for a good like the next 3 days, so that was her way of like contributing to my college experience. I think it's just really hard when it comes to like just learning. Like I didn't really, when they say like you got to eat your veggies, you got to eat like a portion of this, you got to eat a portion of that, I didn't really know much
Mhm.
about that until like I was older. And I think now I had to take like my mom had to go through like a really serious like health crisis. And now she's a matriarca in the family, right? So she cooks, she's the one that cooks, she's the one that um but she had to go through all that. And now she's like she went through like a series of like workshops. She went to like a camp where like they taught her how to like about her body, about the food, how it impacts her body, how it impacts the illness that she had, how it, like whatever she eats, how it impacts like diabetes. And but she did that all in Mexico. So now fast forward, she's better now, but she's like hella conscious of what she eats. Like she doesn't want to keep like sodas. No more sodas in my mom's house. Like got rid of those, but something had to happen drastically for us to like take it serious, and I think she's really trying her best to like take care of herself. But I mean, my dad, like she's trying to encourage him to like eat less tortillas, like you know drink less, or like drink less soda, not have so much sugar, um but again, food is just like it's such a complex, because I think everybody has a different experience to food. Um, but when we think about home, first thing that we can think about is like the food that you're gonna eat, right? Like when you get together as a family, like the dishes that people are gonna make together. When you think about, you know, us starting our families, like what food we want them to eat, and like just like passing those traditions and the recipes, but I guess now my experience has become too like, okay, when I think about food, is like, okay, well, is it healthy, is it like something that will, how is this going to impact me, how is it going to impact Mariela, how is it going to impact my mom, but sorry, I know I just jumped into food and like talk a little bit about different things, but I can think that's what came to mind.
No, no, no. That I think and no, I think that's a good conversation. Porque well, before anything, like, how's mom doing? Like, she's doing much better now. Like, with con su salud.
She is doing much better. Like there's this centro in Chapala, Jalisco, and like that centro is all about taking care of yourself. And if you take care of yourself and you eat right, then there's no like she was battling like diabetes, she was battling cancer, and like she has none of that. And it's because of like what she eats, She doesn't eat meat. She just eats chicken. She doesn't eat like carbohydrates, like which are just or bread or sugar. She really maintains it. Um, does not know fried food, but it's like has to be really disciplined, like very, very disciplined. Like I tried, showing my solidarity and like supporting, but obviously it's like, damn, it's hard for me, and I'm like younger, so but no, she's doing so much better. When she came here and went to go see the doctors were just like what happened? Like this is unreal.
Shocked.
Yeah, very shocked. They were like, they're no, because they were saying, in her blood they wouldn't see anything else. Like they would measure her, blood pressure or like her sugar level, and it'll be fine, it'll be normal. And they were like, what happened? Did they do like? And my mom was just like, oh, I went to a center and I'm taking care of my body. And they're like, this is unheard, like this is crazy. Like, like no, you need to like, she never put like a, como se llama,
The insulin.
insulin. Yeah, that she never put that in her body. And and they were like, you haven't been using it? And she was like, no. And but they were just shocked that like a lot of things just kind of like disappeared.
Por eso te digo, like I think this is a good conversation. One, because like it ties back to like our previous conversation about nutritious foods in our communities. When we talked about like what type of access to foods do we have in our neighborhoods,
Hmm.
right? And we talked about that, like at least for myself in South Central, it's like I have Food for Less, I have Superior, I have El Super, right? So that is like the most, that I can get to in terms of like I guess healthy food, right? And the farmers market, right, which is like every so often, but it's like we don't normally go
Hmm.
to a farmers market because it's I guess it tends to be a little bit more expensive than going to one of the other ones that I just mentioned. So that's one, and I think the other one is um, like the way the healthcare system works both here in the states and in Mexico, right? And I think in Mexico it's more, not to say that it's the greatest, right? Because I'm pretty sure it has
Hmm.
like its drawbacks and whatnot. Pero I think it's more natural the way they address things, like like the food is much more healthier.
Hmm.
Like if you were to have a
Yeah.
caldo de pollo here compared to Mexico, it's more natural to have that caldo de pollo in Mexico because your tia, your tios, your family raises the chicken, right? So
Hmm.
they've been feeding the chicken this natural food, right? And then when it's time, then like gracias, for giving us whatever you gave us, but now we gotta, like we're gonna make you in a caldito or in a mole or whatever it is that family makes.
Yeah.
But it's compare that chicken to a chicken here, which maybe it has a little bit more what do they call them? Más la inyectan más, with I guess protein or whatever it is, para que crezcan, para que se vean, more healthier and whatnot. So I think that's one of the biggest difference. The other thing is,
Hmm.
I'm glad you brought up the food conversation porque that's one of the things that I've been talking with my partner too. Like what we're eating now and what we're gonna eat or what our food is gonna look like, when our child is born. Like we have to make changes and we have to shift, because eating out is, yeah,
Hmm.
it's good, it's convenient, but like you said, it's not the healthiest, you know. And so like even myself, I'm thinking about like, okay, what can I do to shift things, like
Hmm.
am I gonna have to go on food TikTok, to learn some recipes and whatnot? Am I gonna have to like get, what I call YouTube certified, to become a good, you know house chef or something, so it's like I'm looking at these things, through a different lens, and I'm trying to figure out, okay, you know what am I what am I gonna do different? Because like, I don't want my kid to grow up and just be eating fast food, right? I think that homemade food is like the best way to go.
Hmm.
And so it's like really, I'm gonna have to put on my chef hat, and really develop that skill. So um but it's a good conversation, porque um again, like even here at my house with my parents, like we've had to make changes too, right? My mom was, she had a situation going on, for some time. And so we, her diet también, it had to shift. Like no more red meat, no more fried food, like all these things. And I was like, te pones a pensar, like, all right, cool, like, what can we do different, not just for myself, but also, for the family, so that we can all, like, be on the same page or something, um, but
Hmm.
it's tricky. I get you when you say it's challenging, because it's like, you say, okay, I'm gonna
Yeah.
change the way I eat, and then the next day you find yourself, like, at a different spot, just looking at your partner like, yeah, weren't we just talking about this the other day, like, how we're gonna stop doing this. And but it's like that.
And it's also hard to like nah, like I'm not a chef. Like I can look at YouTube and I still it won't still taste good. Like I still will miss something. I'm still struggling with how to make a olla de frijoles, or arroz. Like so I think for folks, that don't know how to cook, right? What's the alternative? And también like it's also like time to cook. You come home and you're working a job and then you're tired, depending where you're working at. If you're working education or social work or anything that has to do with helping your community, you come home and you're drained, you know and then you come home and then maybe you didn't do the dishes, or maybe me- you're exhausted. So I just don't know how, like, my mom does it when she would come home, piscando, or like from she used to work in like picking lemons and oranges, but like she would come home and still expected to like cook and clean and do all that, like shit, I'll come home, and it's hard. It's hard to do all that. So and the easiest thing is to like do Uber Eats, or is to stop and get something fast food, and it's like affordable. It's like crazy to see like the prices, right? Like $2 for, I mean, two for $5 for like burgers or something, but then a salad is like 7.99, 8.99, but I did want to plug in something that's actually closed. There's actually one in Compton, there's one in Watts, and there's more of these places. They're called Every Table, and they are I think there are, don't quote me, but I want to say that they are partnered with Homeboys Industry. And what they do is that they try to be in areas where there's like it's called the food desert, right? Where kind of you name some like where there's not really access to healthy food. Um, you know. So what they do is that they have like fresh meals, fresh salad, just fresh, healthy, and the prices of those meals are based on the income of the area. So for example, there's one in Compton that has been my best friend, like since when my wife had the baby. And like, again, I'm not a chef, so I can, what best I can do is like a cereal, or like maruchan or something, but still that's not healthy. But what I would do is like I would go and like get meals for like the next 3 days, and like it was like already made, and it was just to heat up, or like salads that were easy to like mix, and they were ready to go. So, and it was like $40 for like 4 days, worth of meals, which is like hella affordable, but again, that's like finding those areas that have, or like those little kind of like spots or restaurants, or that they have their own, they have a food that's healthy, that's accessible. But yeah, I wanted just to plug in. It's called Every Table, and they're delicious. They're like the only place I eat salads from nowadays, because I'm not a really big salad eater. But there, I will eat their salads for sure. But I think it's hard, right? Like it's like, damn, when you come home and you still have to clean and do this and do that, and it's like cooking, and it's like that's when you fall back into like, I would just order something, and then like, I'm not gonna take time for myself, and then that affects, it's a correlation to like our mental health, right? Like what we eat affects our
Yeah,
mood.
yeah, no, no. And every table is a good option, if you haven't checked it out. I know I've tried it myself. The food is pretty good. It's a lot healthier, and a lot less expensive than going to Jack in the Box, McDonald's, or any fast food. Because like you just said, you bought 4 meals for 4 days for $40, right? That's like what I would spend for one meal for three, a family of three, at Jack, McDonald's, or whatnot. Um, The other cool thing about Every Table, and I just want to throw it out there too, is that they have this program where, like, if folks wanted to, I guess, become owners of a store, like they'll put you through a program, an apprenticeship program, where you learn the ins and outs of managing a business, right? And then once you've completed the program, they'll have you, set up a shop, at a local community, so that way you run the space. So I think that's pretty dope. It's a good opportunity for folks,
Mm,
just to get out there, and learn new trades, new tricks, and if, get into the habit of, providing good options for the community. Um, and yeah, not to mention, but this segment was brought to you by Every Table.
yeah, no.
It's a it's a non-paid sponsor. And that's yet that it was not paid by Every Table, y'all. We just like to promote. We just like to promote any good opportunities. Um, but uh, you know, you leave me thinking even more, porque it's like the holidays are coming, right? And it's like, I want to eat tamales. Like, that's what we make at home, and I'm like, man. And it's like, son tamales en hoja de plátano, right? So it's like, my mom gets down and was like, and we all get in the kitchen, because the tamales that we make, it takes a pretty long process. It's not like, it's something that we just, throw in the masa and that's it. It's like, no, there's a long process to it, where we got to prepare the masa, we got to make the salsa, we got to deshebrar el pollo, we got to, las hojas de plátano, like we heat them up in the comal, not in the comal, in the stove, and para limpiarlas, so it's like there's a whole process to it, and even just like
Mm,
cleaning the leaves itself takes a long time. Like that's something that when my brothers and I were younger, like that was our role, because we couldn't get in the kitchen yet. So it's like we would find ourselves just cleaning the leaves, Um, but I think, como te digo, like I think that process in it of itself, the food, like I can't let go of it. The tamales, the pozole, um, the mole, and everything else that comes with it. Because it's you said it earlier, it's a love language, and I think, um I came across a TikTok video once, and there was this content creator, and she was talking about, how do we bring the community together, and and then she's like, it's through food, like food is a love language that everybody understands, and it's just, and I think that is so true. It's so right. So when we talk about, like trying to like distance ourselves from like food, or like some of the unhealthy food, like sometimes that unhealthy food is probably like the food that we love the most, you know and so it's like, how do we do that? But it causes a dilemma, and I'm like, oh man, as long as they don't take away my coffee, I'm good. Like, you could take anything else away, and I'll probably, the first thing that I'm gonna teach my kid is like, cafe con pan.
cafe, huh? Instead of leche, you're gonna put coffee in their bottle, huh?
We're gonna put a little bit of cafecito right there in their bottom and be like, okay, no man, I'm gonna get a child who's like hyperactive and is
No,
all running all over the place. But
I think it's
yeah,
gonna backfire on you and and your partner. But no, I'm telling you, like I love food. To this day, and I'm not coming to say like, oh, I eat healthy and I work out and I do. No, no, no. I'm like the total opposite. I have not, I work out by running around behind my daughter Mariela, making sure she doesn't hurt herself, or like walking my dog once in a while when I have make time for him. The easiest thing is for me to let him out to the backyard, than walking him nowadays. But I think it's like, yeah, food is like, again, everyone has their different relationship to food, and for me, food has always been, home comfort. Now that I
yeah,
moved away from where, my mom, I'm from, like, I'm probably like an hour and a half from away from my mom, so like I don't get to have her, food often. So sometimes I am missing, like getting some tacos will remind me of her, or like, birria or anything like that. So I think what I've been learning though, and this has definitely been learning just from, my mom, is like, it's just like learning some self-discipline, not because the total opposite is like, también after the holidays, New Year's comes and everyone wants to do like a New Year resolution, and one of the biggest thing is
Mm,
like always losing weight or going to the gym,
mm,
right? I feel like that's always been a thing, but that won't last more than a month, like shit. I know that wouldn't last for me. I would be like, okay, I'm motivated, I'm gonna,
mm,
do this, do that. So I think that's the total opposite, where we take it to the next extreme, where it becomes unsustainable and unrealistic. I just, if we're able to, and again, I'm still working on this, but I've learned that you can't just take everything away and then just say I'm not eating any of that, right? You have to have
mm.
like certain amounts, and you have to like also, if you're like craving something, then go for it, but then jump back in, right? Like,
Yeah,
or not overeat, because I feel like that's something that I feel like I used to struggle with, or I'm still struggling. Just like I'm full, but I'll still continue to eat, on that side. Yeah,
mm,
like no, I
mm.
need to stop eating. If I'm full, I need to stop eating. you
Yeah,
know,
mm,
um. So it's like, I think it's like those little things, right? Cause yeah, the holidays are here. Yeah, my mom makes really bomb tamales, pozole. She's doing a posada. Like, there's all these types of food, but how do I like? It's more about like self control. At least that's what I'm really working on.
yeah,
Cause yeah, I can't just say no to everything. Cause then I'm gonna, if I say no to everything, then I'm gonna cheat on food, and then once I cheat and I eat something bad, then I'm gonna just eat everything. I'm like, well, I already messed up,
yeah.
so let me just eat everything. Like eat 10
I'll
tamales.
start
Oh
tomorrow.
well, I already ate one. You know, I'll start tomorrow, and then tomorrow comes in, and oh, I'm having three conchas today, and it's a really is difficult. It is
Yeah.
difficult, but and again, I'm not coming to say say like, oh, I'm great, I'm doing all this. No, no, no. Like I'm struggling with it too, and
It's just a process, like it's a process for everybody.
Mhm.
We're all in a different space. We're all in a different time. And we're all going to be able to deal with it, and move forward with it at a different, pace. And I think that's just it. Um, and I think, it also raises, we're talking about being home for the holidays, and spending time with the family, and eating the foods that we like, the foods that, we enjoy when we come back. I know when I was at Northridge too, and it was like I would come back home and it's like mom's cooking was, the first choice over like going out, to eat outside. um but
Mhm.
it also, raises the question of like, for folks who maybe don't have a place to go, right? And I know we're talking about it earlier, like, what does that look like, and I think it's something also to just be mindful of, right? Just I know we had a conversation, and when I say we, I should really say um I had a conversation, with a group of men, from a men's circle, and that was like one of our topics of discussion. Like, how do we deal with the holidays when you don't have, or you possibly don't have, like the most welcoming environment, or just a place to go back to, right? And so that was also on my mind, and I know, Susie, you had some good points, when we were, having this conversation offline también. But to me, it was just like being able to like have an open space, for your friends, for your colegas, um, and checking in with folks, right? Because sometimes maybe some people might not have a place to go back to, right, for whatever reason, right? But checking in frequently and be like, yeah, like, how are you doing for the holidays? How's the hard things coming along? And if you have time and space to open doors to people, and enjoy a meal with them, then why not do it, right? But that was something, that was also on my mind, just with a lot of things that are going on
Yeah,
in the world today. Um, that was on my mind. So I was like, all right, like let's. It's gonna
yeah,
be a tough time for some folks, and it's gonna be a good time for others.
yeah. I think also it also brings up a level of anxiety for folks, right? Or like, and I'm just speaking on behalf of like just I remember me growing up during the holidays. It's just like always someone would ask, ¿Dónde está el novio? And I'll be like, no tengo novio, pero tengo novia. So it's also like that level of also like it's like folks, it's like holidays, might be joyful and cheerful for folks, and other people it might be like scary or brings anxiety,
Yeah.
or it's like, I don't want to, I'm gonna have to see this person, um or I'm gonna have to, X, Y, and Z. But I think one thing I feel like nowadays I've been seeing more people kind of like advocate for, like, um they choose, like, the whole phrase of like, I choose my family, right? Like, it's not just like family, it's not just
Mm.
blood, you got, like, I've been seeing that more and more from just folks, and like, just really, and I think that's like powerful, right? When you just can just like be like,
Yeah.
what, I'm not following that, and I'm not gonna put myself in a situation where it's like uncomfortable, and I choose to not be there, and I think that's something that, I think, I don't know. Some people, like older people, will be like, "¿Por qué no estás aquí?" or whatever, right? You're mal agradecida, or whatever it is, whatever they want to call. If you don't follow those traditions, so I think that's like powerful when people just are brave and are like, I choose not to put myself in a situation where I'm gonna be uncomfortable, and I think that's like dope. And I think for young people, right, who might not have that choice, it might look like, I'm thinking about my middle schoolers, might look like them staying in their room. It might look like them just being in,
Mm.
them just playing video games all the time. Or maybe they just have a hard time socializing, you know. Or they might be still have anxiety about COVID, that's also still going on.
Yeah.
So I think, yeah, the holidays are like, just like food, right? Holidays are also very complex. And it's just not like
Yeah.
okay, everybody have a good one, but it's like a lot of things are going on at the same time.
And it's not that we're saying to clap back. Hint, hint. Ahora sí, como dicen the new kids, the younger kids. Pero if you have that tia or that tío que te pregunta de la novia, del novio, or about, how many girlfriends they would have, at your age, don't take it. Just, ahora sí,
Hmm.
díganle sus cosas. Respondan de regreso. Díganles que no. Que en sus tiempos, en el año del caldo, ya, we're not there no more. Yeah, things have changed. So,
Hmm.
no es cierto, don't, don't do that because I don't know.
We're not responsible for any family fights or any family disagreements.
Que
Yeah.
decimos, this is not legal advice, right, or parenting or family advice, but just little hints over here and there, but that's it. Um I think the other thing that that comes to mind is like you were saying, like people have to deal, or some folks have to deal with, like going back home, and it's like that's the first question, like dónde está el novio, dónde está la novia, or when are you gonna have kids, right? When are you gonna make me a tío, a tía, or like all these questions, and it's like, yo nomás vine aquí para convivir, have a good time, catch up with y'all, of course, la comida, like I miss it, mostly the comida, than catching up with y'all, but like chill, right? Like I don't need to be like bombarded with all these questions, because you feel like the need that like it's time for me to be at a certain stage. So it's crazy, that some of our communities do that. Um, I know that was a lot of the times in my family. I had to sit down and have conversations with them. Like, yo, like I'm not, I'm at this stage and I'm not at this stage
Hmm.
just yet. Like, you're gonna have to like deal with it. You know, and sometimes the conversations were good, and sometimes the conversations were not good. But that was just a risk that I was willing to take because I didn't want to deal with like having to, go back and hear it all
Hmm.
over again more than once. And at some point you just gotta be like, or at least at some point I had to be just like, you know what, this is it. Like this is how I'm gonna manage my life, and you're either okay with it or you're not. But that's where I was at. Um, so
No, it's so going with all that being said, we hope everybody enjoys some time off. At least you're getting time off from work or wherever you're at, school, work, and recharge those batteries. Because I don't know, I feel like this year has been rough. I feel like it's been
yeah.
tiring. I don't know, maybe it's just me being a new parent, but it's been a.
Well, you're a parent and an educator too, so you spent It's like
Parent,
you're a parent to
educator.
not just your kid, but you know, kids the otros parents, you know, and it's like you gotta like I'm sure that that has a toll on you too. You know,
Oh
there's a
yeah,
lot that you gotta deal with.
I think we'll save that talk about the
Yeah.
post COVID and the aftermath of distance learning in classes. We'll save that topic for the next our next talk, our next plática. Pero but no, I don't know. Maybe I don't know how you feel, David, but I feel like this year's been rough, and I think definitely really taking advantage of like just some time off, and just it's cool that we're able to do this now and reconnect, me and you, and continue with the podcast, because I think this is a space where I get to like unwind and just kind of share my experiences, and also pick your brain and learn from you and learn from everybody else, and just kind of just release a little bit, as part of, I feel like I really do feel like a lot of it is like healing for me. So I really do enjoy, our platicas and our time together, and I'm glad that we're back.
No, 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 definitely, definitely. It has been a tough year, you know, definitely. Pero aquí estamos, you know, where we keep moving forward. Let's seguimos, you know, doing the best that we can. However, we were able to manage it. So, and I'm also grateful, you know, that we're doing this once again. We're bringing it back up. I agree with you 150%. You know, like I'm grateful to be in the space with you. Um, and then just bounce back ideas. You know, if sometimes it feels like therapy, like online therapy, and I was just like, I wish I had a couch so I can just lay back and be like, okay, yeah, this is what happened to me today, you know, and I didn't know how to deal with it, uh, but no, I'm thankful, I'm grateful, I'm excited. So I hope you guys are too, or hope you all are excited as much as we are, and I think that wraps it up for
All right,
today.
folks, please be safe. Remember to still wear your mask, or if you're feeling sick, stay home. Don't, you know just be safe.
Saludos, everybody. Take care. You know, enjoy the holidays and check in on your loved ones.
Peace.
Peace.